Hey guys, Stay Patient here. Now earlier today I got a message on PSN from Sith Knight who pointed out that two of the games that I have guides for are currently on sale on the European and the UK store. They are Dead Synchronicity and The Little Acre. They're both super easy platinums that can be finished in around about an hour. And so I thought I'd take a look at this sale because those two weren't part of the January sale. So obviously it meant that there was some other sale that had been started. So I took a quick look, and there are quite a few games on there that are quick, easy platinums, and some that are a lot of fun that have easy plats as well. So we're going to take a quick look here. I'm going to try and make sure that this isn't too long a video. I've actually recorded this once already, and it was like half an hour, so I've decided to go back now that I know the sale, and I know which games are there. We can kind of rush through a bit quicker. But there's two sales here, the games under £16, and the digital discounts. Now the digital discount sale, difficult to say fast, is the one with most of the easy plats. Now if we scroll through, I'm going to make this nice and quick. Like I said, the Absolute Drift Zen Edition, that's a fairly quick platinum, but it's not super easy. It's like a 4 or 5 out of 10. Some people struggle with it, so it depends on your experience with top-down drift style games. If you're used to kind of MotorStorm RC or games like that, you may get on okay with it. King's Quest is a game we've spoken about before. It's not super cheap at the moment, but it is an episodic game that's quite easy to complete. An easy plat there. If we keep going through, there are some that we've spoken about a lot. Goosebumps showed up on the first ever episode of the easiest and fastest PS4 Platinums videos that I put up. This is very similar to Day of the Tentacle. I might actually end up doing a guide for this, even though it's an older game. It is super easy. It takes like 2 or 3 hours, basically point and click, just follow the step-by-step instructions and you'll fly through it. Nightmares from the Deep. This is from the same developers as Clockwork Tales of Glass and Ink. It's another kind of hidden item game, where you're looking at a screen trying to find items and use them together to solve puzzles and things like that. That's quite a nice little price, that, for a platinum, $3.29, easy plat. It's going to take you, if I remember correctly, it's something like 6 to 8 hours. So it's not as quick as some of the other plats, but it is super easy, and you should be able to get through it nice and quickly, and super cheap as well. Albedo is a game that does have a nice, easy. It's quite frustrating to play, but the trophies themselves are straightforward. It's a super easy game to platinum. It's a very frustrating game to play, put it that way. And it's also a terrible game. It's really bad. It actually got quite a good reception when it came out on PC for some strange reason. But $7.99. One thing I forgot to mention at the start is that some of these games are cheaper when you buy, if you've got a PlayStation Plus account. I can't show you the prices with PlayStation Plus because as soon as I sign in, when you're not signed in, it doesn't recognize that you've got PS Plus because you're not signed in, so it doesn't show you the PS Plus prices. I think it should, because it's a good kind of motivation to get you to want to sign up for PS Plus if you see games are cheaper. And it does show you on the PlayStation Store, of course, but you have to be signed in on the PlayStation Store, so that kind of makes sense. But as soon as I sign in, most of these games would no longer show the price because I already own them. So it would just come up with the word purchased. So, unfortunately, I'm not able to show you the games that do have further discounts if you're a Plus member. So I do recommend you guys take a look yourself. It might be that Albedo is even cheaper than £8 because that's still a lot to spend on a 3-hour platinum that's actually really quite painful to play. You will earn a plat out of it, but it depends how much value you put on trophies, really. The other one I did sort of skip over actually was Blues and Bullets. I think this is an easy one, but it's a bit strange. I think they're waiting. I think we're still waiting for the final episode, so I don't think we can plat the game yet. We can earn the trophies from the first 2 episodes, and that's a nice cheap price. I picked that up during the holiday sales, but there's no knowing whether episodes 3 through to 5 will ever arrive. Sometimes they just take years, a bit like with King's Quest. That was a similar situation. It took forever to get the final episodes out, and I think they probably rushed through them because Sony said, look, you need to release them because it's been like 2 years. This page has got quite a few nice easy plats on. Manual Samuel isn't super easy, but it's fairly straightforward. I've not actually played it myself, but it's got like a 4, maybe 5 out of 10 difficulty rating, but it is real quick. It only takes a few hours. I'm hoping Acromotor Racing Utopia is easy, because I quite enjoyed playing Riptide GP2, similar game. $7.99 is quite a good price, but when I looked, it had a low completion percentage on the Platinum, so I don't think it is an easy one. Orc Slayer, on the other hand, is one of the easiest Platinums on PS4. Some people struggle with it, but that's only because they're not upgrading. They might not realise the game, doesn't do a very good job of explaining how to upgrade. So when you get upgrade points by picking up, when you kill orcs, they drop experience sort of orbs, and you need to pick them up before they disappear. And then that fills up a bar, and every time the bar fills up, you get a new skill point, and you press triangle, if I remember correctly. And it's worth putting all those skill points into the 2 upgrades to the far left of the screen. One of them is your fire rate. It's actually called reload speed, but what it means is your fire rate, because there is no reload in the game, basically. It's just like how short a time there is between shots. So when you've got that fully upgraded, it's like really rapid fire. It speeds up the Platinum, and it makes it a lot easier. And the other upgrade on the far left next to it is the health upgrade. And once you've done both of them all the way, you get like a top upgrade that increases both of them by a significant amount. And if you do that, it makes the game a complete cakewalk. And for £1.69, I mean, the game was already super cheap at $3.99. And you can stack this one as well, so you can get it in the US and in Europe. I don't think it's on sale in the US, it might be. And that's the other thing, sorry, I did forget to mention, this is the European store. Maybe I did say that, I forget, I'm tired today. But I don't think all these games are on sale in the US. Some of them might be. But for those of you in America, I'm sorry if these games aren't on sale for you as well. Hopefully they will be at some point. So that's Orc Slayer. We've got now the 2 that I mentioned already. There's Synchronicity. Still a lot of money to spend for a 1 or 2 hour Platinum. So again, it depends how much you value the trophies. But it is quite an interesting game. It's very depressing, but it's a good story if you can kind of survive it emotionally. It's very emotionally draining. It's set in a concentration camp. It was £16. That was very overpriced. £12 is still quite a lot. Maybe it's cheaper if you've got a PS Plus membership. It's worth checking. But it's not a bad game. It's quite a nice little story. The trophies are super easy, super quick. I've got a guide on the channel. It will show you how to get all those trophies in 1 hour. So it is literally one of the quickest Platinums on PS4. The other game I have a guide for is, of course, the Lutterlaker. This is, I think, the most recent one I put up, actually. I am working on a guide for Clockwork Tales of Glass and Ink. But the Lutterlaker is actually a really nice little game. And I seem to remember, before it went on sale, I think it was one of those games that was cheaper for PlayStation Plus members. So it might be that now that it's on sale, maybe it's even cheaper again if you have a PS Plus account, which most people do. So have a look at this on your own store. It might be less than $7.39, but I say it's worth that because it's such an adorable little game, The animation, the story and everything, the graphics, they're all very Disney-esque, and it's a really nice game to play, actually. It's a lot of fun, even if you're following a guide. Just the voice acting and everything, it's just really adorable, I would totally recommend it. Everyone who's played it said they really liked it. Anyway, I think that's most of what we're going to cover in this section. We are going to take a real quick look at the other sale. Where are we? The games under £16. Now, this is mostly bigger titles. There are some easy plats on here as well. And we're going to try and make this quick because this is what I spent too long on when I first recorded the video. Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls collection. That is cheaper if you've got a PS Plus account. Something like £11, which is crazy value because they're both great games and they're both easy platinums. I haven't actually played Beyond, but Heavy Rain, I've considered doing a full platinum guide for that, which would be quite a long video. But it's one of those games that's a lot easier and quicker if you know what you're doing and if you've got a guide. In fact, the trophy guide on PlayStationTrophies.org isn't as efficient as it could be because it actually forces you to do a whole extra playthrough on top of what you need to do. So when you follow the guide, just basically ignore the first playthrough and jump to the second one and do everything it tells you to do for the second playthrough, because that's all about getting all of the endings, But I'll leave that up to you. It's an older game. You've probably had experience with it by now. The Witness is awesome. It's a hard plat, so don't buy it if you're after an easy plat. It's like a 9 out of 10 or something. But it's an amazing game. Back to the Future. This is one of Telltale's games from before they started doing just like story-based trophies. Nowadays, you can just complete the game and get the plat. Back in the day with like Monkey Island and Back to the Future and stuff, there were unmissable trophies. So that's one of those. It does have 5 episodes, but if you follow a guide, step-by-step guide like we do with the point-and-click adventures, then it will take you probably around 10 hours to complete, 10, 12 hours. And it's kind of fun, if you like the franchise, if you're if you were born in the 80s and grew up with the Back to the Future games like I did, then it's a bit of a laugh, and $7.99 isn't too bad. In fact, all of the Telltale games are on sale for $7.99 on the PS4, but $3.99 on the PS3 and Vita if they're available on those consoles. So if you're looking to stack the trophies, because they do stack across the different consoles, and or maybe if you haven't played them at all and you just want to play them and experience the stories, but do so for as cheap as possible, then you could always pick them up on Vita or PS3. The PS4 versions do run a lot smoother, but they're half the price. The PS3 and Vita ones are $3.99. So it's a great way of being able to stack up trophies, or at least experience these games for cheaper if you haven't already. Let's have a look here. What have we got? There were just a few games I kind of wanted to point out. Infamous here. This is the double pack of Second Son and First Light. In my opinion, they're both awesome games. They didn't get massively high reviews. They got around 8 out of 10 from most reviewers. But the reason they didn't get sort of 10 out of 10, even though they're amazingly good fun to play and they're really well designed, is mostly because they're quite short and they don't have a huge amount of content. You can pretty much blitz through the Platinum on Second Son, which requires 2 playthroughs. You can do that in a couple of days, First Light will probably take you about, if you spent a whole long day on it, you could get it done in a day. It's actually a bit harder than Second Son because there are these arena mode challenges that involve staying alive for a long period of time and racking up points and things like that. But that actually makes First Light, it kind of makes more sense than Second Son because it focuses on the gameplay, which is what the game's all about. The story's okay, the characters are okay. The graphics and the animation is amazing, really, really unbelievable. It's one of the best looking games on PS4, but the voice acting and the writing and stuff's a bit a bit cringeworthy. But like I say, First Light focuses on the gameplay aspect by giving you these arena modes, these big challenges that you can take on, where it's just all about the gameplay. And the gameplay is where these titles shine. It's so much fun, and I think I mentioned that they're cheaper. Did I mention? No, maybe not. I'm getting confused because I've already recorded this once. But they're cheaper if you've got a PS Plus account. So they're something like £10.50 or £11, which is insane. And whatever that translates to on the European store. Now that's so cheap for 2 of the best games on PS4. Like I say, they didn't get 9s or 10s because of the lack of content. But when you're a trophy hunter, that's kind of a plus because it means that you can get the Platinums nice and quickly. And they are relatively easy as well. I'd say Second Son's probably a 3. I think they're both given a 3 out of 10. First Light might be a little bit harder for some people, but a friend of mine who isn't a gamer, isn't a trophy hunter, I just bought him a PS4 for a present when he moved away. He played First Light, and it was his first Platinum, even though he doesn't really care that much about trophies. He kind of knows that I do it for a living and everything, so he's interested, but he's not a trophy hunter. So that just gives you an idea. He's not a gamer whatsoever. He's got 3 games on his PS4, and that's it. And he was able to earn the Platinum for First Light, so that gives you an idea of how easy it is. Let's crack on though. Sorry, I spent a bit of time on that one. Let's just scan through and point out the rest of them. Broken Sword, nice easy plat, £8. That takes, I think it's 10 hours or something. I've not actually done it myself yet, but I mean to. It's on my to-do list. There's lots of great games here, but I'm only pointing out the ones that are either ridiculously easy or really cheap, We've got the rest of the Telltale games showing up here. God of War Remastered. This is actually cheaper. It's something like £6 if you've got a PlayStation Plus account. It's a really good game. If you haven't played it on PS3, it's totally worthwhile. And there's a glitch that I mentioned during another video, this week's update, I think. Basically, I'll run through it real quick. There's a glitch. You can Google this. So the basic sort of steps for implementing the glitch can be Googled. They're on the trophy forums and everything. Basically, what you can do is after you've completed one playthrough and the challenges, the challenge of the Titans or whatever it's called, they can be a bit tricky, but once you've done them, you then need to go back and do a Titan playthrough, which is, I think, the second hardest difficulty in the game. Now, what you can do is set up a arena battle with certain settings, And those settings, if you do it correctly, if you do the glitch correctly, they'll carry over to your Titan playthrough. So you can give yourself infinite health, infinite item bars and magic bars and all that kind of stuff. And you can give yourself access to all the weapons as well. Now there's one weapon that you need later on in the game to be able to... you get to this location with 3 statues, and there's a big chain in the middle. You'll recognize it when you get there, from the description, hopefully. And when you first get there, you can't, go up the chain, which is where you're trying to head for, by the end of the game. So you carry on with the game, you find a weapon that allows you to smash the crystals on the back of the statues' heads, and then that raises the chain up. Then you can use that same weapon to smash the chain, and that triggers the kind of cutscene that takes you to the final boss. Now, on PS3, people thought, oh great, we've done this glitch, so we've got all the weapons earlier. We start the game with all the weapons, so we can actually go ahead and smash those crystals and get to the final boss without completing the game. And they tried it, but it glitched their game and it kind of it crashed and everything. It wouldn't work. But on PS4, it does work. Totally works, which is awesome. So when you get there, you can go through the steps. You'll know the steps involved because you'll have already completed the game once. So when you get to the location, it will trigger in your mind. You'll think, oh, hang on, I can kind of do what I need to do later in the game right now. And it actually works. It takes you to the final boss and it skips about 80% of the game, or 90%. It's really crazy. So that makes the platinum so much easier, so much quicker. It's actually like a game that you could technically probably beat in a day if you spent a full long day on it. So that's ideal for trophy hunters, really, because it's really awesome, a lot of fun as well. Let's keep going here. What have we got? Okay. Dragon Quest Heroes, that's quite a good price. That's a really long plat, but it's easy and it's quite fun as well. Japanese RPG. We've got all the Drive Club stuff. Drive Club's actually really good. It's kind of come into its own now that everything's sorted, all the launch issues are fixed. It's a really good game. We've got Life is Strange, $3.99. Play this. It's basically I think it's Square Enix. I said Konami last time. I got that wrong. I think so. One way round or the other. It's one of those two. I think it's Square Enix. But this is a episodic adventure game, just like the Telltale games, but it's more relatable. It's more modern. It's not based on a franchise or an IP. In an existing IP. It's all about time travel and stuff. It's really cool. It's a great story. It's quite kind of hippie, but I really enjoyed it. And it's $3.99. It has a plat, very easy plat. You do need to get all the collectibles throughout the game, but you can go back and get them later. They're all kind of tracked quite easily for you in the menu screen. So yeah, buy that. If you haven't played it already, just buy it. Everyone who buys it off my recommendation comes back and says, I really enjoyed that. It's really good, We've got Minecraft Story Mode. This is another Telltale game. This is the Adventure Pass, actually, which is basically the DLC, because there's 5 episodes, and then there were 3 DLC episodes. But here, what we've got is the Season Pass, which is the original 5, which gives you the Platinum. But here, you have a combination of this and the one from the other screen. So this is basically everything in the game. This is the Season Pass, which gives you the original 5 episodes, which allows you to earn the Platinum. And you also get the Adventure Pass, which I've had to buy individually and, waste some money on. But the Adventure Pass is the extra 3 DLC episodes. So there's 8 episodes in all. You only need 5 for the Platinum, and this gives you everything. So you can 100% the game, $11.99. It's not as good as some of the other Telltale games, but it's an easy plat, and it's quite enjoyable, especially if you like the kind of Minecraft lore and everything. Monster Jam Crush It here. This is another game we've discussed as one of the easiest plats on PS4. It's actually £9.99 if you've got a PlayStation Plus account, so I'm sure it's reduced further on the European store as well, if you're buying it in euros. This isn't a great game. It's quite wonky, the controls and mechanics and everything, but it's a super easy plat. It takes around 3 hours, and there's not really any guide you need to follow. You just sort of, everything's there in the game. You can just look through the list of trophies, and it's pretty obvious what you need to do. So that's another one that's worth checking out. Let's see here. I'm going to speak. Oh, here's one I definitely wanted to recommend. Sleeping Dogs. Such fun game. Open world game set in China, I think it is, like Hong Kong. But the cool thing about it is it's got all the basic kind of open world tropes, driving and shooting and everything. But it's also got a really cool martial arts aspect, so hand-to-hand combat and everything. And it works really well. It works kind of like maybe a Batman game or something, but it's got its own style. The buttons and everything, they haven't borrowed a control scheme from any other game. They've created their own. And it really works well. You use the environment whilst you're fighting and everything. It's one of those sleeper hits, I suppose. Pardon the pun. But seriously, guys, it's been overlooked by a lot of people. It did sell well on PS3, but obviously it's not sold that well on PS4 because it's dropped down to $3.99 already, which is crazy because this is a big AAA game. It's it takes probably around 30 hours to platinum, I'd say. I think that's about right. And there's a lot of extra content there that you can carry on playing after the platinum's done. There's a lot of little side bits and pieces, like I think even karaoke and stuff like that, almost like a Yakuza game. But it's just really, really good, guys. Just go out and buy that. If you haven't played it yet, $3.99, that's an absolute giveaway for such a great game. And like I say, it's an easy platinum, not like brain dead easy, but it's one of those games that if you just play it, you'll get everything. It's all about, I think you need to 100% the game maybe, or something like that. It's going to take you a bit of time, but you'll enjoy every hour you spend with it. Strider is another great game. You probably got this for free when it was on the PlayStation Plus Instant Game Collection, but if not, pick it up now for $3.99. 2D hack and slash platformer, like Metroidvania style game. So much fun. It's really good. A lot of people have played it recently on the channel and said it's really cool and they enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. It's not as easy as other games. It's like probably a 4, maybe a 5 out of 10 difficulty, but it's pretty quick as well. Takes a couple of playthroughs and you'll be done. Yeah, a lot of fun. Check it out. Tearaway Unfolded is on offer as well. I think that's probably fairly easy, a bit longer than the Vita version. Let's see, we've got the rest of the Telltale games showing up. Tales from the Borderlands, which is actually, a lot of fun. It's really funny. The humour in it's great. We've got The Walking Dead down here. Let's keep going though. Wolf Among Us, yeah. I think we're getting towards the end now, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is the end here. Okay, guys, there you go. So a lot of nice, easy, quick platinums and a lot of really fun games on offer as well. I mean, $3.99 for a lot of these games, Sleeping Dogs and stuff is an absolute bargain. Infamous, both games for like 10, 11 pounds is crazy. If you haven't got all these games yet, just go out and buy them now because you can literally build up a huge collection of amazing titles to play for the price of one new game, And just because a game's new, it doesn't mean it's better. In fact, sometimes games go downhill over time. So you need to kind of go back a few years to find the really quality titles. And then, of course, we've also got a lot of the super easy quick platinums like the Lutalaker and Dead Synchronicity and Orc Slayer and Albedo and all these games. What's it called? Monster Jam Crush It. There's lots of easy plats on sale now. So now would be the time to go and stock up, guys. Hope you enjoy any of the games that you pick up. Thank you for being patient with me. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Cheers, guys. Later.